The characters or characteristics of living organisms help differentiate them from non-living things. These features are common to all forms of life, from the simplest bacteria to complex humans. Here are the main characteristics of living organisms. 1. Cellular organization. All living beings are made up of cells. They can be unicellular, like amoeba, or multicellular, like humans. 2. Growth and development. Living things grow by increasing in size and/or number of cells. Development refers to changes in form and function over time, e.g., a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. 3. Nutrition. All living organisms require nutrients for energy and building body structures. Types. Autotrophic, make their own food, like plants, and heterotrophic, depend on others, like animals. For metabolism, life involves chemical reactions called metabolism that take place in cells. Includes anabolism, building up, catabolism, breaking down. 5. Responsiveness to stimuli, irritability. Living organisms respond to environmental stimuli like light, heat, sound, or touch. Example: plants bending toward light, phototropism. Humans withdrawing hand from a hot object. 6. Reproduction. All living organisms have the ability to reproduce and give rise to offspring. Asexual, one parent, or sexual, two parents. 7. Respiration. The process by which organisms break down food to release energy. Can be aerobic, with oxygen, or anaerobic, without oxygen. Excretion. Removal of waste products produced during metabolic activities. Example: humans excrete urea through urine. 9. Heredity and genetic code. Living things pass genetic information, DNA, to their offspring. This ensures continuity and variation in species. 10. Adaptation and evolution. Over generations, living organisms adapt to their environment. These adaptations may lead to evolution. 11. Definite lifespan. All living beings have a limited lifespan. They are born, grow, mature, and die. Livings can be found in various places. Where living organisms are found. 1. Land, terrestrial habitats, forests, trees, animals, birds, fungi, insects, deserts, cacti, camels, scorpions, snakes, mountains, mountain goats, snow leopards, lichens, grasslands, deer, lions, zebras, grass species. 2. Water, aquatic habitats, freshwater, rivers, lakes, ponds, fish, frogs, water plants. Marine, oceans, seas, whales, corals, seaweed, sharks. Estuaries, where rivers meet the sea, crabs, mangroves. 3. Air, aerial environment, flying organisms, birds, bats, insects, some seeds, like dandelions. 4. Underground, subterranean, soil-dwelling organisms, earthworms, moles, fungi, bacteria, root systems of plants, rich in microbes and insects. 5. Inside other organisms, parasitic habitat, parasites live on or inside hosts, inside body, tapeworms, bacteria, viruses, on surface, lice, ticks, leeches. 6. Extreme environments, extremophiles, hot springs, bacteria like Thermus aquaticus, polar regions, penguins, polar bears, algae, deep sea vents, tube worms, chemotrophic bacteria, salty lakes, halophiles, salt-loving microbes. Acidic environments, acidophiles. The beauty of a galloping horse, and the migrating birds, or the valley of flowers, or the attacking shark evokes awe and a deep sense of wonder. the ecological conflict and cooperation among members of a population and among populations of a community, or even the molecular traffic inside a cell make us deeply reflect on what indeed is life. This question has two implicit questions within it. The first is a technical one and seeks answer to what living is as opposed to the non-living, and the second is a philosophical one and seeks answer to what the purpose of life is. As scientists, we shall not attempt answering the second question. We will try to reflect on what is living. If we see around us, various types of living organisms are present. Some of them are very minute or microscopic. We cannot see them with our naked eyes like bacteria, and some of them are very large in size, like elephant or giraffe. If we observe a small area, we can find some organisms living in it. If we increases that area of observation, we can find some new organisms. And if we increase area to again very greater level, we may find many variety of organisms. Say for example, start from your home, observe living and count it. After look for whole society and then your village or city and then try whole state. You will see difference that small area has little variety compared to larger areas. That means if the area of observation is increased, then the number or the variety of organisms living in it also increases. The number of species that are known and described range between 1.7 to 1.8 million. This refers to biodiversity or number and the types of organisms present on Earth. As stated earlier, there are millions of plants and animals in the world. We know the plants and animals in our own area by their local names. These local names would vary from place to place, even within a country. Probably you would recognize the confusion that would be created if we did not find ways and means to talk to each other, to refer to organisms we are talking about. Hence, there is a need to standardize the naming of living organisms such that a particular organism is known by the same name all over the world. This process is called nomenclature. In other languages, an ant, American English, ant, Arabic, Brazilian Portuguese, formiga, Chinese, Croatian mrav, Czech mravenek, Danish mr. This is a bit confusing, knowing a single organism by so many local names that we don't know. So scientists came across with some solution to avoid this confusion and study all organism at once without being confused by local names. So let's learn that method for avoiding our confusion. That method is giving an organism a scientific name. Obviously, nomenclature or naming is only possible when the organism is described correctly and we know to what organism the name is attached to. This is identification. In order to facilitate the study, number of scientists have established procedures to assign a scientific name to each known organism. This is acceptable to biologists all over the world. For plants, scientific names are based on agreed principles and criteria, which are provided in International Code for Botanical Nomenclature, ICBN. Animal taxonomists have evolved International Code of Zoological Nomenclature, ICZN. The scientific names ensure that each organism has only one name. Description of any organism should enable the people, in any part of the world, to arrive at the same name. They also ensure that such a name has not been used for any other known organism. So now if you go to any part of world, and you say scientific name of rhino, rhinocerodity, all over the world you would find it correctly. But think of person who have not seen rhino, would he be able to locate it? Answer is no. So next thing into description of animal, identification of animal, maybe after that you could answer it. Binomial nomenclature. This naming system given by Carolus Linnaeus is being practiced by biologists all over the world. Each organism will be given two names and hence called binomial nomenclature. Other universal rules of nomenclature are as follows. 1. First name will be generic name, second name will be specific epithet. Biological names are generally in Latin and written in italics. They are Latinized or derived from Latin irrespective of their origin. The first word in a biological name represents the genus, while the second component denotes the specific epithet. 4. Both the words in a biological name, when handwritten, are separately underlined or printed in italics to indicate their Latin origin. The first word denoting the genus starts with a capital letter, while the specific epithet starts with a small letter. It can be illustrated with the example of Mangifera indica. For example, you can see scientific name of mango. Observe there are two names present. The first name is Mangifera, which is generic name, and the first letter is capital. Second name is specific epithet and first letter of name is small case. In the end of name, a small first letter of scientist name. You can pause video and see it for yourself. Since it is nearly impossible to study all the living organisms, it is necessary to devise some means to make this possible. This process is classification. Classification is the process by which anything is grouped into convenient categories based on some easily observable characters. Likewise, in plants, if we try to talk of wheat, the picture in each of our minds will be of wheat plants, not of rice or any other plant. Hence, all these dogs, cats, mammals, wheat, rice, plants, animals, etc. are convenient categories we use to study organisms. The scientific term for these categories is taxa. Here you must recognize that taxa can indicate categories at very different levels. Plants also form a taxa. Wheat is also a taxa. Similarly, animals, mammals, dogs are all taxa. But you know that a dog is a mammal and mammals are animals. Therefore, animals, mammals, and dogs represent taxa at different levels. For example, we easily recognize groups such as plants or animals or dogs, cats or insects. The moment we use any of these terms, we associate certain characters with the organism in that group. What image do you see when you think of a dog? Obviously, each one of us will see cats. That means we will imagine cat characters in our mind, and not of dogs. This is possible because we have seen cats and we know the characteristics of cats and dogs too. But now what if I tell you to think of not all dogs but a specific dog? So now if we were to think of Alsatians, what do you imagine? Any dog? Or just Alsatian dog? Suppose we were to say mammals. You would, of course, think of animals with external ears and body hair and not other animal types. Likewise, in plants, if we try to talk of wheat, the picture in each of our minds will be of wheat plants. Not of rice or any other plant. Hence, all these dogs, cats, mammals, wheat, rice, plants, animals, etc. are convenient categories we use to study organisms. The scientific term for these categories is taxa. Here you must recognize that taxa can indicate categories at very different levels. Plants also form a taxa. Wheat, rice, neem, coconut tree is also a taxa. Similarly, animals, tiger, dogs, snake or cat all represent a group or taxa at all levels. Similarly, animals, mammals, dogs are all taxa, but you know that a dog is a mammal and mammals are animals. Therefore, animals, mammals, and dogs represent taxa at different levels. Hence, based on characteristics, all living organisms can be classified into different taxa or can be called as group. This process of classification, making groups, is taxonomy. To do taxonomy, we need to look at some characteristics like external and internal structure, structure of cell, development process, and ecological information of organisms are essential and form the basis of modern taxonomic studies. Hence, characterization, identification, classification, and nomenclature are the processes that are basic to taxonomy. Let's learn in brief about taxonomy. It is the science of classifying living organisms. Follows a systematic process typically involving these core steps. Identification. What? Recognizing and distinguishing an organism based on its observable characteristics, morphology, anatomy, behavior, ecology, or molecular data, DNA, RNA, proteins. How? Using tools like field guides, dichotomous keys, microscopic examination, or genetic sequencing. Goal: to determine what the organism is by comparing it to known groups or references. Description. What? Documenting the defining characteristics of the newly identified organism in detail. How? Recording morphological features, size, shape, color, structures, habitat, geographical distribution, behavior, and molecular data. This creates a formal profile. Goal: to provide a comprehensive account that distinguishes this organism from others. Classification. What? Arranging organisms into hierarchical groups, taxa, based on shared characteristics and evolutionary relationships, phylogeny. How? Grouping similar organisms together into progressively broader categories. Species, genus, family, order, class, phylum/division, kingdom, domain. Goal: to organize biodiversity into a logical, structured system reflecting relatedness. Nomenclature, naming. What? Assigning a scientifically accepted unique name to each classified taxon according to established rules. How? Primarily using binomial nomenclature developed by Linnaeus for species. A two-part Latinized name, genus plus specific epithet, e.g., Homo sapiens, Panthera leo. Higher taxa also have standardized names, e.g., Hominidae, Felidae. Rules. Governed by international codes, ICZN for animals, ICNAF for plants/algae/fungi, ICNP for bacteria, ICTV for viruses. Goal: to ensure every organism has a single, universal name for clear communication, avoiding confusion from common names. Verification and publication. What? Confirming the identification, description, classification, and name through peer review and formally publishing the findings. How? Submitting detailed work, often including type specimens, to scientific journals where experts review it. Valid publication makes the new classification and name official. Goal: to ensure accuracy, establish priority, and make the information accessible to the scientific community. Additional important considerations and modern steps. Comparison. This is inherent throughout the process, especially during identification and classification, constantly comparing the organism to known taxa. Phylogenetic analysis. Modern taxonomy. While classification aims to reflect phylogeny, modern taxonomy explicitly uses evolutionary relationships inferred from molecular data, DNA sequencing, fossils, and other evidence as the primary basis for grouping organisms, cladistics. This is often a crucial step before final classification and naming. Characterization. Similar to description, but often implies a deeper analysis of traits, especially for defining higher taxa or understanding evolutionary significance. Collection/preservation. Initial step for new species, physical specimens, vouchers, type specimens, must be collected, preserved, e.g., herbarium sheets, museum specimens, frozen tissue, cultures, and deposited in accessible collections. This provides reference material. In summary, the essential flow is: Find and observe, collect/preserve if new. Figure out what it is, identification. Write down all its key details, description/characterization. Determine its evolutionary relationships, phylogenetic analysis, increasingly central. Place it in the family tree of life, classification. Give it a unique scientific name, nomenclature. Get it checked and share it with the world, verification and publication. These steps are iterative and interconnected. New information, e.g. DNA data, often leads back to re-identification, redescription, reclassification, and sometimes renaming. Taxonomy is not something new. Human beings have always been interested in knowing more and more about the various kinds of organisms, particularly with reference to their own use. In early days, human beings needed to find sources for their basic needs of food, clothing, and shelter. Hence, the earliest classifications were based on the uses of various organisms. Human beings were, since long, not only interested in knowing more about different kinds of organisms and their diversities, but also the relationships among them. This branch of study was referred to as systematics. The word systematics is derived from the Latin word systema, which means systematic arrangement of organisms. Linnaeus used Systema Naturae as the title of his publication. The scope of systematics was later enlarged to include identification, nomenclature, and classification. Systematics takes into account evolutionary relationships between organisms. Classification is not a single-step process but involves hierarchy of steps in which each step in diagram represents a rank or category or group or unit. Since the category is a part of overall taxonomic arrangement, it is called the taxonomic category. And all categories together constitute the taxonomic hierarchy. Each category, referred to as a unit of classification, in fact, represents a rank and is commonly termed as taxon, pol taxa. Taxonomic categories and hierarchy can be illustrated by an example. As insects represent a group of organisms sharing common features like 3 pairs of jointed legs. It means that all insects have recognizable concrete objects which can be classified, and thus were given a rank or category. Can you name other such groups of organisms? Remember, groups represent category. Category further denotes rank. Each rank or taxon, in fact, represents a unit of classification. These taxonomic groups/categories are distinct biological entities and not merely morphological aggregates. Taxonomical studies of all known organisms have led to the development of common categories such as kingdom, phylum or division, for plants, class, order, family, genus, and species. All organisms, including those in the plant and animal kingdoms, have species as the lowest category. Now the question you may ask is, remember, species is the lowest and kingdom is the highest group or taxa or category. How to place an organism in various categories? The basic requirement is the knowledge of characters of an individual or group of organisms. This helps in identifying similarities and dissimilarities among the individuals of the same kind of organisms as well as of other kinds of organisms. By using similarity and dissimilarity, we have to make groups. As we move from kingdom to species, similarity increases, dissimilarity decreases. And as we move from species to kingdom, similarity decreases, dissimilarity increases. Let's see species. The species is the fundamental unit of biological classification and the most basic rank in taxonomy. Taxonomic studies consider a group of individual organisms with fundamental similarities as a species. One should be able to distinguish one species from the other closely related species based on the distinct morphological differences. See picture of cats. All are cats, but they are not same, but they represent different species of cats. You need to see and observe it carefully in order to know the difference. See these cats and dogs, all are called as dog or cat, but they are visibly different than each other. This is called species. But remember, in a group of species, all are the same. But two closely related species can be more or less different. Mangifera indica, Solanum tuberosum, potato, and Panthera leo, lion. All the three names, indica, tuberosum and leo, represent the specific epithets, while the first words Mangifera, Solanum and Panthera are genera and represents another higher level of taxon or category. How a species look alike? Let's see some example. Here we take cat as an example. All are cat to you, but they all belongs to different species. That is why we should be able to differentiate between all related species. Jungle cat, Felis chos. Black-footed cat, Felis nigripes. Sand cat, Felis margarita. Chinese mountain cat, Felis biati. African wildcat, Felis libica. European wildcat, Felis silvestris. Felis is a genus of cats. All are cats similar looking, but all are placed into different taxa or category or group called species. Genus. Each genus may have one or more than one specific epithets representing different organisms, but having morphological similarities. For example, Panthera has another specific epithet called tigris, Leo, pardus. Here these are species together constitute genus Panthera. Genus comprises a group of related species which has more characters in common in comparison to species of other genera. We can say that genera are aggregates of closely related species. For example, potato and brinjal are two different species but both belong to the genus Solanum. Lion, Panthera leo. Leopard, P. pardus. Tiger, P. tigris, with several common features, are all species of the genus Panthera. This genus differs from another genus Felis, which includes cats. This is plant hierarchy. Chart. Species tuberosum, potato. Species nigrum, mokoi or black nightshade. Species Bitesium, tree tomato, and melangina, eggplant, aubergine or brinjal, together comprise genus Solanum. Similarly, genus Solanum, petunia, and datura comprises family Solanaceae. Family is a group of related genera, with still less number of similarities as compared to genus and species. Families are characterized on the basis of both vegetative and reproductive features of plant species. Among plants, for example, three different genera, Solanum, Petunia, datura, are placed in the family Solanaceae. Among animals, for example, genus Panthera, group of lion, tiger, leopard. Genus, Felis, group of cats, comprises family Felidae. Cat and a dog, the features similarities, differences as well. They are separated into two different families, Felidae and Canidae, respectively. This is chart for Mammalia group. Take pause and see it and study chart. See for all groups like species, related species, not related species, and genus, family, and also think of their characters. Ask yourself why they are grouped like this. Do you see any similarity and dissimilarity? You have seen earlier that categories like species, genus, and families are based on a number of similar characters. Generally, order and other higher taxonomic categories are identified based on the aggregates of characters. Order, being a higher category, is the assemblage of families which exhibit a few similar characters. The similar characters are less in number as compared to different genera included in a family. Plant families like Convolvulaceae, Solanaceae comprise order Polemoniales, mainly based on the floral characters. Felidae and Canidae forms animal order Carnivora. Observe chart to understand this classification. Last, this category includes related orders. For example, order Primata comprising monkey, gorilla, and gibbon is placed in class Mammalia, along with order Carnivora that includes animals like tiger, cat, and dog. Class Mammalia has other orders also. Phylum/division. Classes comprising animals like fishes, amphibians, reptiles, birds along with mammals constitute the next higher category called phylum. All these, based on the common features like presence of notochord and dorsal hollow neural system, are included in phylum Chordata. In case of plants, classes with a few similar characters are assigned to a higher category called division. Study chart for more clarity. Take some pause and read it. All animals belonging to various phyla are assigned to the highest category called kingdom Animalia in the classification system of animals. The kingdom Plantae, on the other hand, is distinct and comprises all plants from various divisions. Henceforth, we will refer to these two groups as animal and plant kingdoms. Let me give you some more on what is a kingdom. Definition: a kingdom is one of the highest taxonomic ranks in biological classification, just below domain. It groups together all forms of life that share fundamental characteristics. Major kingdoms, according to 5 Kingdom Classification by R. H. Whitaker. Kingdom description example organisms. Monera unicellular prokaryotic organisms bacteria. Cyanobacteria, blue-green algae. Protista mostly unicellular eukaryotes amoeba. Paramecium, algae, unicellular. Fungi multicellular, mostly. Heterotrophic, cell wall of chitin mushroom. Yeast, molds. Plantae multicellular, autotrophic, cell wall of cellulose trees. Grasses, ferns. Animalia multicellular, heterotrophic, no cell wall humans, lions, insects, birds. Kingdom versus species summary. Feature species kingdom. Level lowest, basic unit high, broad classification. Size of group very specific. Organisms nearly identical, very large, millions of species. Examples: Homo sapiens, Canis lupus animalia, Plantae, fungi, etc. For example, humans are classified as domain Eukarya, kingdom Animalia, phylum Chordata, class Mammalia, order Primates, family Hominidae, genus Homo, species Homo sapiens. Study below table by yourself. Common biological genus, family, order, class, phylum / name division. Man, Homo sapiens, Homo hominidae, primata, Mammalia, Chordata. Housefly, Musca, Macidae, Diptera, Insecta, Arthropoda. Domestica. Mango, Mangifera, Anacardiaceae, Sapindales, Dicotyledonnae, Angiospermae. Indica. Wheat, Triticum, Poaceae, poles, Monocotyledonnae, Angiospermae. You can study exercise here too, so if you want to see exercise answers, wait for next slide. Here's a complete set of answers to your exercise questions. 1. Why are living organisms classified? Living organisms are classified to organize the vast diversity of life forms in a systematic way, make the study of organisms easier and more efficient, understand evolutionary relationships between different organisms, provide universal names and avoid confusion due to local names. 2. Why are the classification systems changing every now and then? Classification systems change because new discoveries like DNA analysis provide more accurate data. Technological advancements reveal previously unknown characteristics. Scientists aim to reflect evolutionary relationships more accurately. New species are constantly being discovered. 3. What different criteria would you choose to classify people that you meet often? Possible criteria could be age, children, adults, elderly, occupation, students, teachers, doctors, hobbies or interests, sports lovers, artists, personality traits, introverts, extroverts, cultural background or language. 4. What do we learn from identification of individuals and populations? From identification we learn genetic and evolutionary relationships, biodiversity and species distribution, adaptations to environment, role of the organism in the ecosystem. 5. Given below is the scientific name of mango. Identify the correctly written name. Correct: Mangifera indica. Incorrect. Mangifera indica. Scientific names are written in italics. The genus starts with a capital letter and species with a small letter. 6. Define a taxon. Give some examples of taxa at different hierarchical levels. A taxon is a group of one or more organisms classified as a unit. Examples: kingdom, Animalia; phylum, Chordata; class, Mammalia; order, Carnivora; family, Felidae; genus, Panthera; species, Panthera leo, lion. 7. Can you identify the correct sequence of taxonomical categories? C. Species, genus, order, phylum. Complete correct order. Species, genus, family, order, class, phylum, kingdom, domain. 8. Try to collect all the currently accepted meanings for the word species. Discuss with your teacher the meaning of species in case of higher plants and animals on one hand, and bacteria on the other hand. Species refers to a group of organisms that can interbreed and produce fertile offspring in animals and plants. Share common characteristics and genetic makeup. In bacteria, species are defined based on genetic similarity since they reproduce asexually, often using DNA sequencing. 9. Define and understand the following terms. Phylum, a group of related classes. E.g., Chordata includes all animals with a backbone. Class, a group of related orders. E.g., Mammalia includes all mammals. Family, a group of related genera. E.g., Felidae includes cats like lions, tigers. Order, a group of related families. E.g., Carnivora includes families like Felidae, Canidae. Genus, a group of related species. E.g., Panthera includes lion, Panthera leo; tiger, Panthera tigris. 10. Illustrate the taxonomical hierarchy with suitable examples of a plant and an animal. Example: plant, mango; kingdom, Plantae; phylum, division, Angiospermae; class, Dicotyledonnae; order, Sapindales; family, Anacardiaceae; genus, Mangifera; species, Mangifera indica; example: animal, lion; kingdom, Animalia; phylum, Chordata; class, Mammalia; order, Carnivora; family, Felidae; genus, Panthera; species, Panthera leo.